This is Coach Philip Bailey Show. James Phillips here. As usual, wasn't here last week. Coach, I'm glad to be back. Coach Bailey, I was on vacation last week, so you had to do it.
Where'd you go?
I was in Gatlinburg.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that area.
You had to deal with Jonathan Bentley, and I'm sorry.
I did. He stepped in, came out of the bullpen, filled in, did a decent job. He is 0-1 as the host of the show, so we're going to have to keep that in account next time you go on vacation.
Well,
I have to call somebody else.
Everybody loves the backup quarterback until he actually gets in the game.
That's just true. Yeah, that's a tough role. But no, man, appreciate Bentley coming on and doing it. And he did a fine job.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Minor last week. Yeah. You guys put some points up and just couldn't keep points off the board.
No, we couldn't, man. And we had our chances in that game. We dug ourselves in a hole there in the first half. So that was really it was a 21-14 game. They were close to the end of the second quarter, and then we ended up going in the locker room 35-14. So had the 2 turnovers right there. Had the screen pass that got undercut, and that was a tough deal, man. Trayvon kind of got hung up at the line of scrimmage, so Spencer kind of had to keep dropping, and then by the time he tried to drop it off to him, ball got undercut, picked, put him in really short field position. They were able to score, and then we got it back again right there before the end of the half, and there was a little bit under 2 minutes left. I think we had 1 timeout, so you're kind of in that position as a coach. Do we try to go score the ball, right, cut it back to 1 score before halftime, or do we just take it into halftime? We elected to try to go score because we've been pretty good in 2-minute situations. We didn't. We turned it over again. I should have been a better coach right there. I should have just taken it to halftime, but threw another pick, and then they ended up scoring. So we went down 21 in the locker room. So, but I'll say this about our kids, man. You go down 3 scores at halftime, and our kids could have, sat there and said, well, maybe this ain't our night, and maybe kind of packed it in. But they didn't do that, man. Came storming back in the second half, ended up losing by 10, and had our chances, man. We did have our chances and just weren't able to capitalize on some things, but I thought our kids battled their tails off. And Minor's a good team, man, and I said that all week. They came in 0-5. It's probably the best 0-5 team I've ever seen. They got a lot of good players. They're well coached. They played some really good teams, and they were continuing and are still continuing to get better each and every week. So had our chances, man. Hate that we came up a little short, but I do think our kids battled.
I was shocked ahead of time that they were 0-5, and I was shocked after the game that they were 0-5.
They're good, man. Yeah. They have good players. Their D-line is good. 99 can play, 8 can play, 10 can play. That back had a good night. That quarterback really played well. That was probably the best game their quarterback has had all year. I mean, we've kind of seen what he can do with his feet, but he made some throws, man. He made some throws on third downs. He played really well, and you saw, I think, that directly affected the outcome of the game.
But for the Vikings to put up 44 points, that's a positive sign.
It was. I thought we did, and that's what I told them yesterday. I thought there was obviously a lot of good on the offensive side. We had that lull kind of right there in the second quarter. If you look back at the game, the second quarter is really what got us, man. So we had we had three and outs, and then we had 2 turnovers. So there was that lull there in the second quarter, man. Kind of dug ourselves a hole. But outside of that, played really well on offense. Scored the first 2 times we touched it. Scored every time we touched it in the second half. Outside of did have a fumble on the goal line. That was disappointing. So we turned the football over 3 times. We can't do that. We got to protect the ball. We only had 3 turnovers the entire year leading up to this game, and we turned it over 3 times against Minor. So the turnovers are disappointing. We got to do a better job of protecting the ball. But outside of those things, I thought we did a lot of good on offense. When you score 44 points, and certainly some positives, but we got to get better. We got to protect the ball.
All right, let's go. Let's transition to this week. It's going to be a road game at Jackson-Olin. Jackson-Olin's a top 10 team. Yeah. They've only lost to Clay Chalkville, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
And Clay Chalkville's beating everybody. Mike can beat Alabama at this point.
Yeah, Clay Chalkville is really good, man. I said it when we played them. That's one of the best high school football teams I've ever seen.
Right.
And they hadn't had anybody that's really been close to them at all. So, going to Jackson-Olin this week. This is only our second road game of the year. First one was Clay Chalkville, and now going to J.O. J.O.'s a very good football team, man. We got our work cut out for us. They're very well coached. Coach Fakakis does a good job. And they have a lot of really good football players, man. They have multiple Power 5 guys. They got an inside linebacker, number 9, that has SEC offers. They have a freshman defensive tackle, number 95. He's got Power 5 offers as a 9th grader.
That says a lot right there.
Yeah, he's 6'3", 290, man, and he's wrecking shop in there. They have other D linemen that are really good. That number 3 that plays in. They're big. I mean, they are big and physical across the defensive front. And they got a lot of really good players. They can run on the back end. Really everywhere, man. There's not any holes on that defense as far as being big and physical and guys that can run. They've also scored a lot of points this year. I think they're averaging around 35 points a game. Quarterback throws a good ball. They got a back that's very capable. They can tote it. And then they got some receivers, man. They got some skill guys that when they get it in space, they can go. So certainly a challenge, man. Certainly have our work cut out for us. Need to get better. Need to go play our best football.
With a defensive line that big, that strong, that fast, how can you present that to your players in practice? Do you put 8 defensive linemen out there?
No, man. You just try to rep it as best you can, and you do a fair amount of good on good. You know, as far as your starters going against each other, and then you just got to prepare them, you know, as best that you can to try to replicate that in practice, and all those little things that are going to matter, that they always matter, but that are especially going to show up in this game as far as offensive line play. When you talk about steps, when you talk about hand placement, hat placement, pad level coming off the ball, your angles, combos, being hip to hip, all those kind of things. That's what we're going to have to do, man. You know, we're going to have to try to soften them up early, you know, get the ball to the perimeter, move them side to side, you know, and then try to maybe test them up the middle kind of as the game wears on. But just trying to go right at them may not be the best plan of attack right there.
Right. Well, and I guess your defense has got to look for speed everywhere.
There's speed all over the field. Yeah, everywhere. We got to get better defensively, man. I mean, we gave up 55 points against Minor. And we know that we're outmatched and outnumbered and outsized and all those kind of things. We've known that for a long time, and that's not going to change. That's not going to change between now and Friday night. It's not going to change right now. So we got to get better, man, and there's things that we can do better. We got to get off blocks better. We got to tackle the ball better. We got to cover people better. There's things that we can control that we've got to get better at, and that's what we got to go do.
Limit turnovers.
Yep.
Limit penalties.
Yep.
Those kind of things.
Yeah, got to have big plays, man. You know, we got to have some big plays because it's probably going to be tough at times, you know, to just snap it, 10, 12 times and maintain a drive. So when we have opportunities to make explosive plays and make big plays, we got to do that. And then certainly we got to limit those on the defensive side. We've got to make them snap it 10, 12 times.
Right.
You know, we can't let them get behind us or break off big chunk plays. We got to keep everything in front of us and make them snap it again. And
you guys have been able to make big plays even against like Clay Chalkville. Had kickoff return for a touchdown, those kind of things.
We did, yeah. We had some. We scored 21 against Clay Chalkville, which I think is the second most points they've allowed all year long. So, unfortunately, we gave up 68 in that deal. So, we have had the opportunity to have some big plays at times. We certainly need that to continue.
Well, how about getting a crowd to travel to Jackson-Olin?
Yeah, it'll matter, man. It'll absolutely matter. We need our people to come and travel down to Jackson-Olin, so as many people as we can have there, as many of our fans, as loud of an environment on our side that we can get, that'll certainly impact the football game.
A lot of times against those Birmingham schools, and it's no knock, but a road team can have more fans than the home teams. That's what happened when Cordova went to Winona last year.
You can, yeah. I mean, especially if you have a fan base that'll travel and it comes and supports you, you can certainly outnumber the home fans. So that'd be good. That would be a good thing for the Vikings.
Well, anything else coming up for the Vikings?
Played our first JV game last night. We had a couple that got canceled earlier in the year for COVID and different kind of stuff. So went to Minor last night. Lost 21-20, man. But I was proud of those kids because, you talk about being outnumbered and outmatched and outsized and all of those things. They were down 21-0 at halftime. We lost 21-20. Had a chance, went for 2 at the end to try to win it and didn't score. But really proud of the way that our young guys battled, man.
And why wouldn't you go for 2 at the end in a
got to. Yeah, might as well.
On the road, JV game?
Yeah, on the road. I think there was under 2 minutes left. Tried to go for
hostile
2.
environment. There were probably 35 fans there for both teams.
Combined, yeah, maybe. No, we had more people there than they did for that JV deal. But proud of those kids, man. Yeah. Proud of the way that they battled right there. So we'll have another JV game at home next Monday night. That'll be Tuscaloosa County. Will be coming to us. So getting those guys some game experience, getting them some reps, man. Just trying to bring them along and develop them.
Well, and that's one thing people don't realize. If you have a good JV program, it's getting those guys ready.
Yeah, dude. It starts with the little guys, man. It starts in Pee Wee and then junior high and then your JV and then your varsity. You got to grow them up, man. The more football they play, the more quality football that they play, the better they're going to be, man. So you got to grow them up. And it takes time, man, and it takes a lot of work by a lot of people to develop a program that's sustained over a long period of time.
Right. You don't want them to end up in 10th or 11th grade, never played before, and
no, and I've
end up on the field. And you've had a couple of those instances.
I've got several of those, yeah. That's and Caden Mormon, man, and he's doing a great job for us. He really has, man. He's worked his way into being a fine football player for us. He never played football until his junior year.
Right.
You know, so
but imagine
this is the second year of football he's played in his life.
Right.
You know? So, but yes, I mean that's where it starts. You don't want guys that the first time they're ever playing football is on the varsity football team, and we have some of those right now. But yeah, got to grow them up, man. Got to develop them. Starts with the little guys.
How's practice been this week? Getting ready.
It's been good, man. It's been good. Yeah, they understand. I mean, they get it. They know we got to go get better. We got to work. There's only one way to do that, man. You got to go put your hands to work. That's how you get better. There's no shortcuts in this deal. You can't cheat it, man. The grind is the grind. The process. A lot of people talk about the process. I think Coach Saban probably has that trademark. But I mean, he's right. I mean, that's the deal. I mean, you got to put in the work every single day. There's no shortcuts. You can't cheat this deal. And that's how you get better. And we know that we got to go get better. So that's what we're doing. No, our kids are working, man.
If we do a pregame interview with you, will you tell people to get your popcorn ready?
I will not do that. That did not go well for Coach Kiffin, man. I don't know. He's a good coach. I mean, obviously, schematically. Went forward on some fourth downs early in that game. But I think that was a plan. I mean, I think he knew he had to score.
He had to be aggressive.
He was that.
Yeah.
He was that. Yeah, and I think he probably regrets that. Didn't he issue like an apology?
He did, I think he did issue an apology. And for spiking the headset.
I think that was really the thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to make some comment like get your popcorn ready, which is not something that I would say in that deal, but throwing the headset, I think was probably a little much. But
I appreciate you for never throwing a headset.
No, well, not during an interview.
Because they are expensive.
They are.
The ones that we have. I don't care if you throw your own headset.
Yeah, I was about to say on that sideline, I've come pretty close a couple times. So, yeah, that was kind of a tough deal in a pregame interview. I think he regrets that. But, I mean, the guy, he's the head coach at Ole Miss. So,
right.
You know,
how do you question him too much?
He's Monty Kiffin's son.
Right. Well, Coach, anything else you want to say? Fans, players, you ready to go?
Ready to go, man. Ready to go. Really good football team in Jackson-Olin. Like I said, we're going to need to play our best football, and that's certainly what we're preparing to do. It'd be good to have a big crowd come travel with us and help affect the football game. So appreciate you guys. Glad to have you back.
It's good to be
in the saddle right here. It was good. So appreciate y'all, man. Go Vikes.
Go Vikes. We'll see you next week.